Hey, hey guys, Cam for 15 back at another video for you guys, and I am back with some more Classroom Elite. I know I've been behind on a bunch of episodes because there has been a bunch of episodes that have just been going on since I last watched the show. Yes, I know. I apologize for the delay in all these episode reviews. I should have been more better about getting these weekly episode reviews, but blah 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 blah. Life happens. I'm not really gonna be talking about the episodes the I missed, which were like episodes. Hold on, hold on. Let me like actually like pull it up. Like looking at my thumbnail, episode from like episode basically like I think five was the last episode I left on. So I'm not covering none of that. I'm realistically talking about episodes 9 and 10 realistically because the in-between episodes was just all kind of set up for this second island arc that we were getting. Basically with the planning structure of like who and Ayanokoji or which people were trying to get Ayanokoji to be on their team and everything. We find out that Hosen, Nanase, and Ichika, they made some sort of alliance and everything, and she's just as devious as anything. And basically, Hosen gives into her demands, but basically, it's like, I don't give a shit what she wants in this whole thing. I'm not giving it to her because guess what? I hold the cards. Like, I guess that's how you can play things and how you can work. Because technically, he does have a point. He doesn't have to give it. He can literally go back on his word and not hand over the points because that's what Ichika wanted, and things like that. And then you just had some other stuff again, some things that Nagamo is having with Ayanokoji and shit like that. But other than that, like there's really nothing. There was really nothing in those in between setup episodes to get to this island arc that really was kind of groundbreaking. It was just kind of establishments of final preparations and things like that. Not to say that's not the reason why I didn't review those episodes. It's just I seriously didn't. Well, one, I was too tired from work and everything to review the episodes. And when you get behind on reviews, well, you just tend to be like, all right, what are the most recent episodes that had the most content to talk about? Well, these last two episodes, clearly, right? um, so there's that. Now, episode 9, we do kind of get well, actually, in the before episode 9, we get left off on the cliffhanger where, as you know, we have the one guy who's been saying like, "Hey, I need you to take out Ayanokoji and get him expelled," and stuff like that, right? And next thing you know, the person who walks up is Nanase. So Nanase is apparently, we haven't confirmed this. There is no confirmation, but apparently Nanase is the other White Room student that was sent here to take down Ayanokoji, which is crazy. Which sucks because oh my goodness, she's hot. I'll talk about that in a second, if you know what I mean. But I was like, oh wow. And then you start off episode 9 with this flashback as she's coming home, and then she opens the door and she's all happy as can be. She opens the door. I guess somebody she was close to, I guess a parent or something like that, was literally hanging in her fucking building. And I'm like, oh fuck? Now, was this the White Room's doing? I have no clue. And was that the thing that they did to get her to be enlisted in the White Room or something like that? Maybe that said parent, that person who was hanged, had a tie or connection to the White Room. They saw some potential in Nanase and were probably like, hey, we need her in this program. And the dude was like, no, she don't need to be in this. She needs to be a carefree, happy girl. And she walks in on that, which was a pretty damn dark start to an episode. I'm like, damn. I'm like, ninjas getting hanged? Whatever. Right? So that's the whole thing. And that also kind of explains how in episode 10, when she was telling Ike about, confessing your feelings to the people you love the most, that probably was a reason why you saw her actually like tear up and start to break down and cry, and everything, probably because of that moment. So, albeit she is in the White Room, she does show some humanity, I guess, because, well, well, I guess in some cases we know that Ayanokoji can show some humanity, but again, we know at the end of the day he's using these people, mostly these hot chicks in this show, but you get my point. But you basically get started off with you get started off with the island stuff. So Ayanokoji is basically by himself. Also, too, Horikita's also seemingly enough by herself. Now, actually, I forgot to mention in one of the previous episodes, I think it was episode 8, her and Ayanokoji go up to that blue-haired chick that was with Ryuen. And she wants nothing to do with Horikita, so she's like, man, fuck you, I ain't gonna deal with this, I'll show you up. Also, speaking of Ryuen, I guess this other guy who was a member of another class ended up actually joining Ryuen's class and kind of persuades him to do it, so there's that, right? But you have that whole thing, and again, I'm going back to episode 9. But yeah, and then also too, the flamboyant guy in their class, he makes a deal with Horikita. If he can get first place, basically the dude won't basically listen to them anymore. Like, he'll just do his own shit. So that's another thing going on. But basically Horikita's like, well, good luck and everything. So there's that, right? And you just have it to where Ayanokoji's going through the island, and like one of the first, tests he's got to take is about anime. Is like, yeah, I think I'm going to take the F on this, which is funny because this man knows nothing about anime when realistically in Japan, that's what mostly people probably watch over there, is just straight up anime, which is funny, and things like that. And then he actually ends up running into, while doing another test, he actually ends up running into, I think, one of the class teachers, and she kind of tries to persuade him to join her class, because she knows, like, I know you're very talented. Like, those math grades weren't any, says it amongst itself. So I know deep down you're a lot smarter than you play you are. And she's basically trying to get him to join the class because it's like, well, hey, you can be doing me a bone and do me a favor, and we can have the top class and everything. And with your smarts, it'd be great. Now, Ayanokoji declines the offer because he's like, well, shit hasn't played out, so who's to say I join your class and next thing you know, we end up becoming like the last team, right? Because she was talking about, like, it makes no sense why you're in class D when you should be probably in a higher class due to how smart you are. So it is kind of, I guess, interesting to see, like, even the teachers can tell, like, okay, he's a lot smarter than he lets on. But it's clear, like, this teacher is probably just trying to get him to join her class to just for like hierarchy reasons and things like that, and just trying to persuade him. But there's that. Now I don't know how you could turn that girl down. That teacher was hot too. Damn, half these damn girls in this show are freaking hot. Anyways, right? So there's that, and then you get left off on the cliffhanger there where he ends up running into Nanase. Now, throughout the episode, in episode 8, he runs into Nanase like 3 different times, and by the 3rd time, she's like, hey, you don't mind if I like tag along, right? And he's like, no, I guess not. You fine, go right ahead, right? And she start walking with him, and I'm like, is this the setup or something? Now, apparently, like, one of the rules are too on the islands, like, you can't sexually assault somebody, otherwise you get automatically expelled. So if we're to be believed, she is the White Room student that is trying to get Ayanokoji expelled. Is she going to try to get him in a position where, oh, boom, evidence is right there, clear, where, it makes it look like he's assaulting her in some sort of way like that, and she's going to catch him in the act or something? I don't know. And regardless, I don't even know within these 2 episodes, like, what is her goal? What is her mission or something like that? Because in like some instances, it seems like, okay, maybe she just wants to hang around dude because she's taking an interest in him. And realistically, she's been having this interest since we first were introduced to this character and she was first introduced to him. Like, is it the White Room reasoning? Because right now, I don't know about Nanase. I'm like 50-50 with her right now of like, maybe she might change her mind and be like, you know what, maybe Ayanokoji isn't that bad of a dude and I don't see why these dudes want to get him expelled. I don't know. In some instances, I don't trust her. In some instances, I do trust her. I'm like, okay, maybe she actually has taken a genuine interest in Ayanokoji. Maybe wants to learn some things for herself. I don't know. But you just have it in these moments where episode 10 happens and they're just walking together. I'm like, okay, so I'm like, they're basically kind of like a team. They kind of basically agree, like, they're only doing points and for their own goals, even if it may penalize them and hurt them in the long run. But they're like, well, I don't have no issue with that. Albeit we do know like she's in a team with Hosen and then Ichika, unless that's not a thing anymore. But whatever, I don't know. I'm just doing educated guessing, right? So again, like I mentioned earlier, you get this moment where they run into Pseudo and in his group, and they basically have a campfire, and Ike is talking about that one chick. I think a few episodes ago, he was obviously like kind of ignoring a bit, and it's clear like she kind of had a crush on him. And he's talking about like, oh, well, she joined this dude's group because I bet you this dude has she has a crush on him and everything. And then it leads into this whole scene where he's basically, I don't want to say acting like a drama queen, but basically talking about how he feels like a coward for not, asking his feelings and confessing and things like that. But that's when Nanase basically gets involved and basically says like, no, you should tell your feelings. Like, after the test, explain your feelings, because it's better to tell somebody you like them a certain way and express your feelings toward them instead of saying nothing, essentially before it's too late. And then again, like I mentioned, she near the tail end of her speech of telling this to this dude, she started tearing up and starting crying. So clearly the person that was hanging was probably someone dear to her and things like that, right? So there's that. Then you get the moment where they're again, Ayanokoji and Nanase are continuing on with their test and their trial, and they get to this moment where they get to this beach part. Ayanokoji can't participate because they're already sold out, but she can. And next thing you know, that's what I mean by like, these girls are hot, or what I'm saying, like, Nanase is hot, and I'm like, I want to trust her, but I know I can't trust her, but I want to trust her because she's hot. And next thing you know, you just have this moment. Ayanokoji is just chilling, bro. She pulls up on him, and this is the funny part, right? Going in this episode, I was seeing a bunch of teaser trailers about Nanase being in this freaking smoking bikini. And I'm like, what the hell is the thing? And then, people are doing side-by-sides what the anime looks like compared to the light novel thing. You can say in the light novel image, she looked more detailed as being a little bit more thicky, if you get what I mean, as opposed to the anime and everything. But I'm telling you, man, I saw her in that bikini and I'm like, excuse me. Now, I was simping for K the most, but after this, I'm like, all right, that's it. Even if she turns on Ayanokoji and she becomes an antagonist, you know what? I don't give a frick anymore. I knew Nanase was packing, wearing the regular school outfit. I knew she was packing. But my God, all right. They did it. They did to me. I am now a Nanase Tsubasa simp. Now she officially is my favorite Class from the Elite girl. And that's just strictly due to the bikini shot. And my God, do I blame Ayanokoji? First thing he says when he sees her, he's like, so that's a pretty cute looking swimsuit. And he's just staring at her. And she's like, all right, man, I don't like you staring at me. It's like you're getting a little weird at me, oogling at me. And he's like, well, sorry, that's what I'm just looking at. Again, like I said, I don't blame Ayanokoji. I'd be looking too. I saw that and I'm like, grade A, 100% A+ snack. I'm sorry, I would not be able to resist. And the further shots they showed her in that bikini, I'm like, oh my goodness, I would not resist at all. I would be shooting my shot in the slightest moment if I were to be confronted by her. She could expel me. I don't care. Regardless, enough of my simping, right? Because I think that's the number one thing people are talking about. That's why the thumbnail is of Nanase in the thumbnail in that smoking bikini. Regardless, enough of my gooning. I already play enough Gooner games and Zenless and all these other gotcha games and things like that. Regardless, right? Enough of the gooning. That was crazy, right? But then you get left off on this episode where they meet back up with Pseudo's group and they're having another campfire thing. And next thing you know, Kay's group actually shows up. Her and Ayanokoji have some alone time and everything. And remember, they're kind of keeping the relationship hidden from others and things like that. But they're basically sitting in this tree holding hands and everything. And you do get this moment where Kay obviously is jealous because she's like, well, I heard there's been a rumor that, because he's like, hey, can you do this for me? And he's like, and she's like, yeah, sure, I'll make sure to do this. But Kay is basically like, well, I've heard through rumors that you've been traveling with Nanase and everything. And he's like, oh, I take it you're jealous, aren't you? And she's like, well, can I have your word that you won't do anything with her or something like that? And instead of Ayanokoji saying something like, yeah, of course, you have my word, he just goes straight in. He just kisses her. And she's like shocked. It looks like she's gonna push him away, but then she just gives in and she's just like flustered beyond belief after he's been kissing her. He's like, you kiss me. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, Ayanokoji kissing your girl, making sure you won't be tempted by the Nanase booba and assets, if you get what I mean, right? But that was absolutely shocking. So it was funny because a few episodes ago they were actually going to kiss in his dorm, and then that's when Ichika showed up, just ruining the moment. So this time there's nobody ruining the moment, and they just kiss, which is great. Now again, like I said, I think I've said it before on the channel, I don't believe this relationship's going to be lasting long, because I think at some point when Ayanokoji sees that Kay's usage has been basically used up, he's going to basically dump her and leave her high and dry, probably betraying her, right? But, you know, we'll see where that goes. But I was shocked. I'm like, okay, Ayanokoji, you're a player. All right, kiss that girl. But, yeah, don't know what's gonna happen next week. He's still traveling around with Nanase, so you have to wonder, is Nanase gonna strike while the iron's hard and get him expelled, or is she just genuinely just following this guy, seeing what this guy does, and just maybe picking her spots, and maybe at some point, maybe she just changes her mind. Excuse me, changes her mind and says like, no, this guy probably doesn't need to be expelled. He's not that bad of a guy, and I don't know why they want him so bad, so whatever, I guess we'll find out. But last two episodes were really good, including this episode for all the spicy reasons, whether that was the kiss or, oh man, Nanase in the bikini. More of that, please. Can we get more of that? More of that. Yes, more of Nanase in the bikini shots again. Anyways, enough of the, again, like I said, enough of the gooning. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Classroom the Elite content and things like that. But till then, guys, I will catch you guys on the next video, and I will see you guys then. Till then, guys, peace.